What is up, Canada? What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about COVID apps. So just really curious what your thoughts are, and we're going to be exploring subject matters as far as like, has the pandemic actually made us more willing to share our information with, say, the government? And would you be willing to share more details about what you're doing, your travels and so forth, and who you're coming in contact with because of what's currently going on with COVID-19? As well, we're going to talk about the two apps available for Canadians if you do want to get apps on your phone to help you with contact tracing or to keep you up to date in regards of all the COVID news. So really excited to jump into the subject matter. And a big part of what we're going to be talking about today comes from a study done by EY. So this was, in fact, a global study. You guys can find a link in the video description down below to everything I'm going to talk about today. And reminder, we do want this to be a two-way conversation. So I want to hear from you in the comments. What are your thoughts about COVID apps? Are you cool being traced? Are you proactively signing up for these apps? Or will you only take them on if they're mandated by the government? So before we get into those apps, though, let's talk about what EY learned when they sent out a survey to about 1,900 people and just asked what's going on in regards to our personal information and privacy preferences during the age of COVID. So the COVID-19 global pandemic has certainly impacted our behavior on a number of fronts. At this point in time, it might be easier to actually number or list the ways in life hasn't been impacted by COVID. Anyways, according to the EY Ernst Young Global Consumer Privacy Survey, COVID-19 has even shifted some behavioral aspects when it comes to humans and our willingness to disclose personal data. So here's a few stats from that actual EY survey. So they found 50% of respondents polled agree that the pandemic has made them more willing to share personal data, especially if doing so contributes to research efforts and community wellness. I'd love to hear, are you guys with that 50% or are you on the other side with the other 50%? What's more, 54% said they are more conscious now of personal data they share via digital communication than they were prior to the pandemic. I know certainly I've become more aware. I don't think the pandemic per se had anything to do with that, but definitely what we're seeing going on with big tech played a major factor in my paying attention. In fact, 43% of those surveyed said measures taken as a result of the pandemic, like health tracking apps, has played a role in increased data privacy awareness. So, however, consumers are not just flipping over their personal information to anyone, they want it going to the proper hands. So 63% of people said, secure collection and storage plays a role in which organizations they're willing to actually share their information with. 57% said trust in the company collecting their data played a factor in this as well. And 51% wanted to feel like they could trust the company collecting their data. So these E&Y stats only tell part of the story. So while people say they're more open and willing to share their personal data in regards to helping fight the public pandemic, the follow through and the actual commitment from us hasn't been nearly as overwhelming as what we say in surveys. Not the first time that there's a disconnect between what we think we'd be willing to do and what we actually do. So 35% of people admit they have not shared their own data in the past 6 months to curb the spread of COVID-19. I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you currently sharing your information with the government? What are your thoughts? Pros and cons. Why did you make that decision? Let us know in that comment section. But also understand that 49%, at 49%, baby boomers have been the most secretive about such information. I'm curious whether that's on purpose or by accident. Maybe it's just a lack of even awareness, but curious to find that out. Meanwhile, only 19% of Generation Z and 24% of millennials have kept their details close to the chest. This is actually fascinating to me, and I don't know about some of these research methodologies, but we'll take EY at their word for now. Additionally, just 36% of people have opened up about their quarantine habits with friends and family. That I do believe. I think there's a lot of people that say one thing on social media and act a different way. And so only 20% have informed an employer about their COVID-19 status and recent contacts in the past 6 months. Parents are also keeping important personal pandemic-related information to themselves. Even though 47% of parents have disclosed the status of a child's health in order to get them back to school safely, only 17% have informed their school about the family's quarantine habits and who they recently came into contact with. When it comes to government-backed COVID-19 tracking apps, only 24% of respondents have said they've used it at least once. And regionally, only 11% of those in the Americas, which includes Canada, have put such a tool to use. And comparatively, 43% of respondents in Asia Pacific have used a similar app, while 25% of respondents in the EMEA, I'm going to guess that's Europe and the Middle East and Africa. That's interesting that they group that entire region together. But 43% of people there, never heard. Have you guys heard that acronym before? EMEIA? Anyways, let me know in the comment section down below. But now let's move on to talking about the apps that are currently available here in Canada. I really do want to hear, do you have either or both of these apps on your phone? So the first thing, let's talk about COVID Alert. So in Canada, the primary pandemic-related apps are COVID Alerts and ArriveCan. Both can be downloaded for free from the App Store, iOS, or from Google Play on Android. And if by chance you haven't used either app or are unaware of how they work, let's give you a quick little synopsis. And again, this is in the video description down below. But the COVID Alert app, it uses Bluetooth to exchange random codes between your phone and those nearby. When near a person, both phones will exchange random codes every 5 minutes. Daily, the app reviews codes from users who have told the app that they've tested positive for COVID-19. Exposure is recorded if you have been within 2 meters of someone with COVID-19, for 15 minutes or more. If a random code on your phone matches the one of someone that has been tested positive, you will receive a notification. Tips about what to do next will also be provided to you. The app sends a notification if a phone used by someone with a positive COVID-19 diagnosis was near you in the past 14 days. And the COVID Alert app does not use GPS to track your location and doesn't know your location, name, contact information, or health information, or at least that's what's currently provided to us in regards to what the Canadian government's saying about these apps. And so then we've got Arrive Alert, which allows you to submit your information easily and securely when in Canada. You will need to provide personal contact information, travel details, including date of arrival, port of entry, flight number, etc., and disclose the purpose of your travel. You'll be asked to answer a series of questions regarding your post-travel quarantine plan as well. And the ArriveCan app doesn't have GPS or other location tracking technology either, according to the government. It only uses the information you provided. So here's some final thoughts in regards to both Ernst Young survey as well as just kind of what we're seeing here in regards to the actual apps available to us in Canada. So seems like everyone's well-intentioned, but very few of us are actually willing to give up our information. I'm willing to admit I'm not downloading those apps. I've got no intention of downloading those apps. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinions in regard to these apps. For me, I figure the NSA's already got my data anyways. They can just cross-reference against that. So I figure that'll take care of it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments. This is a two-way conversation. And we really do appreciate all of those of you that are commenting, that are supporting, that are smashing the like button, and that have already hit subscribe to my YouTube channel, because it means the world to me and the team. So appreciate Aber and Art always being in the comment section, sharing their perspective. We've also got Shade in there and Shatika. I've definitely slaughtered that name. I apologize. I had to download Arrive app when I came back from the trip, but deleted it right after. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually learned that a lot of people did that. That would be a fascinating statistic to see how many people download it for the first 14 days because they're required to, and then immediately delete it off their phone afterwards. But again, do want this to be a two-way conversation. So if you have used these apps or you're actively using these apps, let us know, share your experiences, and maybe share your perspective. Maybe I'm being a little bitch here. I'd love to get your thoughts, your comments on today's video. And a reminder, every weekday we're going live at 12:15. This is all about just trying to provide more relevant Canadian content to you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. If you do, you need to share this on social media because we were just talking before we went live here. I seem to be getting shadow banned, I think, on a couple of platforms, which isn't fun, but it seems to be just the way of society now. So I think it's more important than ever, if you see content, whether it's my content or someone else's content that you really enjoy, you need to take on the responsibility, have the duty of sharing it with others, posting it on your social media feeds, retweeting it, sharing it on Instagram, whatever that looks like for you. At the end of the day, if we want people to become better informed, at some point we need to step up. This is my version of stepping up. I'm spending real money here, losing real money every goddamn day shooting these videos. But I really do hope that long-term, I'll look back with hindsight and be proud of what we did here. And maybe we'll actually build something that matters. So appreciate you guys. I'll see you in like 5-10 minutes for the next video. And the next video, we're going to be discussing some interesting concepts when it comes to real estate, cryptocurrency, or Bitcoin, or blockchain, and the tokenization and everything in between. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes.